Hello, film friends, friends of film, and everyone in between. Welcome to the Film Folklore Podcast. I'm your MC, Jed Props, and I am joined by a crack team of experts here, or an expert team on crack, whichever way you look at it. I got Joe AD here.
Yo.
I have Zoe Props.
Hello.
Mr. Chris AD.
I'm so whacked on crack right now.
Crack is back.
You sound like it.
And of course, the amazing Justin Sound.
Hello.
All right, so we're going to jump in today's interview in a minute, but first, I wanted to ask y'all about awards. Has anyone had any special awards growing up, or maybe the ironically not special awards, the mediocrity awards? Like you got your participation, you got your 7th place ribbon because, God forbid, a child is left behind.
I got best T-shirt at summer camp when I was in the 5th grade. It was a Tabasco shirt.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
And it was supposed to be, I think, loudest T-shirt. And it wasn't even that particularly loud. They probably just gave it to me, this award, because they knew I wasn't going to win any other awards. I think that's really what's going on with that one.
You know, I just had to think.
I love having a good thing.
You received a thought.
Yeah, I'm having a thought. And in my head, I've never done sports. I've never won anything. I've never ever gotten an award, but I have gotten an award. There was an assembly going on, and there was this like military talking guy, and he had a lot to say. And I don't know. I think I got an award for being a jerk. He irritated me. He was talking about our youth and how great we're going to be. And I don't know. I didn't agree with him. And he went around the assembly thing and asked us if we had any comments. And my little 11-year-old hand shot up and just really gave it to, I don't remember what I said, but I was very much so in strong disagreement with him. I remember my friends were very embarrassed, and I got an award, man. He at the end of the assembly, he pulled me aside. I was in the newspaper. They like took a picture with me and was like, "You really spoke your mind, young lady." You know what I mean? That kind of thing. So that was my one award, was just for kind of being a jerk. Being a jerk to this guy.
This was not an award, but a buddy of mine got suspended from high school because he was having the head of the FBI of the New Orleans branch come to talk to us about being in the FBI and specifically drugs. And he was it was a school assembly, and he was in front of a giant DARE banner. And
that program went well.
Oh yeah. Let me tell you why though. So my buddy, DARE is written on there. Everybody remembers that font and everything. Well, he took a can of spray paint, and it says, "Drugs are really excellent." And he sprayed paint that on the DARE banner, and then the curtains opened up, and here's the head of the FBI, and everyone starts cracking up laughing at the banner behind him, and it was awesome. And he got suspended, which is sort of like winning an award, but a little different. It was great.
That's cool. Crime is cool.
Crime is awesome.
Yeah.
If we're counting getting suspended from school, then I've won some awards for sure.
Yeah, if we're counting that.
I've definitely won a few awards.
Accolades.
I remember in elementary school, I got a certificate for perfect attendance, and
Man, your parents loved you.
Yeah.
I made them upper middle class.
I made them frame it, and I actually put it on the ceiling so I could go to sleep looking at it every night. But about a year after that, there was a handicap kid at the school, and they were a very sickly person, unfortunately, and everything. And so they were in and out of school all the time. And I had this kind of light bulb go off of like, well, wait, this is unfair. This person is sick with their conditions and their ailments all the time. They are not even a candidate for this dumb certificate that I was given just because basically I didn't get sick and I'm a, quote unquote normal healthy kid or whatever. So then I had this like huge like shoulder drop and like, this is like, this is like second grade. So, but I I think I saw that certificate once or twice around the house afterwards, and every time I was like, go in a drawer, get out of my sight. You sicken me.
That's some beautiful self-awareness.
Yeah, for like a
You know,
9-year-old or whatever.
Morally, too.
Yeah.
You realize that you did nothing and contributed nothing, and that award was
Well,
meaningless.
and that's the
a great-
1980s when
Yeah.
you got a lot of awards and certificates for not really doing anything.
Yeah.
Just kind of being there.
It was kind of the genesis of that,
Right.
really.
I like the idea of you jumping on your bed trying to get it off your ceiling, and you have that. Like, oh god! Put it in the drawer.
Why did I use a ladder? I don't have a ladder now. All right. So that said, I did all this to make a very terrible segue. Speaking of awards, we're going to talk about Best Boy today. We've always loved our best boys and girls as they are. We have Nick Grip today with us. Hello and welcome, Nick, who's going to hopefully shed light on the quandary of a best boy grip. We're glad to have you today because you are our first grip aficionado.
Cool.
That we get in here. Welcome, Nick Grip. You, I guess before we get any further along, I was going to ask if you could kind of educate the listeners and us on what a grip is and what the grip department does.
So the grip department basically assists camera and lighting with any kind of support that they have. We manufacture, shape, and create light with whatever we have. Sun, the electricians provide the lights, they plug it in, they turn it on, and then we manipulate it however the director of photography wants, essentially. And then we help camera support, building rigs and mounting things, stabilizing the cameras and all that good stuff.
You also kind of get stuck with like when there's a random heavy thing that needs lifted.
Oh yeah, because most of the time there's like one set deck person on set that can't
Right.
move the giant armoire out of the way or something.
Right.
Yeah.
So they always go to the grip department and no one else.
No one else.
Yeah. Like couldn't ask electric. They're standing around doing nothing.
No, because they got like expensive clothes on and leather jackets. They don't want to get dirty. That's why. That's our joke is that they don't do anything. They call us dumb.
We
like,
definitely want to
mules,
hear
but-
grip and electric jokes.
Yeah, for sure.
Awesome. Well, for you, Nick, specifically, give us a little background. Like, how did you get into the industry? Were you always wanting to get in the industry? Did you kind of fall backwards into the industry?
Whoa, yeah. You might know a little bit of my story. I don't know if everyone, like, Minge has been around me for a while too.
Mm.
So I didn't want to be in film like at all, ever in my entire life. Young, high school, like I just kind of just needed money. So I worked any job that I could get. I had an uncle that worked as a catering chef and just always offered me a job, was just, hey, when are you 18? When are you 18? I'll give you a job. Turned 18, called him. He gave me my first job on Rock of Ages with Tom Cruise.
Wow.
And that was like in Miami. And I'm based in LA. So, they flew me out to Miami for this job as like, setting up tables and chairs. It was really just because they had so much background for that movie. They had like 1,500 extras. So that, for every department, just manpower. So I was out there setting up tables and chairs and running food. And then that was the first and only movie that I did. And then after that, I got pneumonia on that movie, by the way. And I ended up in the hospital for like 4 days in Miami with like no one out there. So I was just in this hospital in Miami for 4 days. And my mom was like worried, I'm like 18. I'm like, and after that, I just went home. Like I didn't even finish the movie. I just went home.
Oh.
And then I worked other jobs. Like I got warehouse jobs all over the place. And then finally got tired of that and called my uncle again. And then he got me back into catering like around 21.
Wait,
and yeah,
how did you get pneumonia in Miami?
I don't know what it was, but I blamed it on the running from the giant refrigerator truck out into the 100-degree weather. Like it was like, hey, go get this, go get that, and I'm sweating, running into the fridge truck, running out, and I
As a
I have asthma.
nightmare, by the way.
Yeah, I have asthma, so it was just all those things was like just a recipe for me getting sick.
Right.
And it was bad.
Brutal.
Yeah.
That's crazy. So, at what point did you make the switch from catering to grip? Was there anyone that just like, was there a key grip that saw you from afar and was like, look at that guy just manipulating light without anyone asking him?
Yeah.
What is he doing over there?
I was using like cardboard from all their boxes
Right.
to produce and stuff.
Exactly.
Yeah. I was looking for any way out of catering. No.
There's a flag before I even told him what a flag is.
Oh man, I want to say it was on Claws. We were catering Claws.
Oh,
I don't know what
yeah.
season, and man, I got sick of it. Like it was just that, I made my way up from like the outdoor guy to cooking, right? Because anything that I did, I was like, who makes the most money in this job? I need to start learning how to do that.
Yeah.
I had like very minimal like interest in cooking at all, but I knew I needed to cook to be making more money than I was at the time. So, and I got sick of it. It just became another job. It just, like feeding you people all day long, 5 days a week.
I try to be
You're
so
out in that
nice to
tent on
caterers.
Claws, too. Huh?
Dude, yeah,
behind
be
the
nice to
stage
caterers.
all the time.
Yeah. You were on that, right?
I was
yeah.
in base camp.
Yeah. Oh my God, that was brutal.
But just fuckers being ungrateful.
Yeah.
I'd say like it's easy to assume that everyone is like that, but maybe like 1 out of 20 people that we would get would be very like ungrateful.
And why was it a DP? That's weird.
I don't know. It was every single.
Good night,
show.
everybody.
It was. I mean,
Snowball
DP, hair and makeup. I don't know. It's usually somewhere around those trailers, right?
It's always a vanity or a DP.
Yeah. Well, when it got to Claws, I was so over it. I was just, 130 degrees in the truck during the summer. It was like, it gets to you. And my boss called me at the wrong time on the wrong day, and I was like, I'm done. Like, I'm out. Come
On the
here.
spot.
On the spot, like took off my apron, and I was like, I'm out. Do the spatulas. I'm done. Literally, I stepped off the kitchen truck, and I called every single person I had met and got cool with from NCIS.
Oh.
And I said, hey, I'm unemployed. What's up? And it was like grip. I called props. The main person that kind of was like looking out for me, kind of shopping me around at every department on that show was Eric Hayes.
Oh, yeah.
And I was just like, hey, if you
That's our second shout out to Eric.
yeah, he
Second shout out. Okay.
already. Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, on another episode. But
Oh, yeah. He was like, yeah, I'll talk to some departments and see who needs people. And the first person to actually give me a day. Well, actually, he was trying to get me on the caterer that they had hired for that next season, because the catering company that I was with they dropped, and then they signed on another catering company, and he tried to get me on them, and I was like, well, that's like the opposite of what I want to do right now. I'm literally leaving another company to do the same thing. And so my buddies in the electric department, shout out Joey, Cotter, Tyler, they were rigging on NCIS, and that's who gave me a job first. So technically my first job that I had that wasn't catering was with the rigging electricians on NCIS for 1 day. Yeah. I had 1 day with them that week. And then shout out Mike Namey, who was the best boy on that time.
Yeah.
He was like, hey, I think he talked to the electrician best boy Yulin on that, and was like, how many days you got Nick for? And he's like, just this one. Like, I don't really have much. And he's like, because I could work them all week and then next week. And he was like, take them. So that's kind of how I ended up working with those guys. Was just like, who could give me the most days, and I took it, and
that's awesome.
yeah.
Real quick, give a little explanation of rigging versus on set.
Oh man, rigging. We basically get in there first and do anything we can to make the first unit guys' jobs way easier.
Before camera's even there.
Before camera's even there, before anyone's even there, we try to set up any lighting that we can, manipulate any of the lighting that's already there, like fluorescence and stuff like that, natural lighting. If if it's day for night, we got to do that, because it's going to take a couple hours to do. So anything that we can do to assist our first unit guys, we do. And then,
Right.
So like rigging like the wires too.
yeah,
That- I
so
mean,
to
I
speak.
don't know.
Yeah, the electricians will do that. Like if they got to get in and mess with the the house lighting with the switches and put things on dimmers and stuff, they'll do all that. But like
Y'all gotta
like
black out
yeah,
windows.
like if they don't know how to turn the fluorescent off, then we have to cover it up, which is kind of weird. Like, and we just typically like everyone unscrews bulbs and like
Sure.
now it's off. But most of the time, a DP will scout something and just be like, black that out, cover that, like cover everything. Don't try to find an easier way to do things. They go right for like the hardest way to do things. And then when we get in here, we actually get to like, well, here's a switch, boom, done. So, but yeah, we do what we can. I mean, the idea is to eliminate the real estate we take up on the floor during the day, right? So we if it looks like it's going to need to be on a stand and be in the way, then we also try to find what else we can do. Like if they're going to put a light up here, we got to try to rig it from the roof or the ceiling so we don't have to bring stands in, because then it's in everyone else's way. So
And Chris or Joe, y'all might be able to speak a little bit better to it, but the whole point of rigging existing is ultimately a money saver, right?
Time saver.
Yeah,
Which
time
equals
saver and a money saver.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As long as you can effectively checkerboard when principal is in a place or throughout the week, if onset, offset, or a night. I was going to ask you, like, how often have you found yourself working overnight to avoid us?
I wouldn't say overnight,
or
but like
opposite.
early, like super early. Like if y'all had a 6 a.m. call, 7 a.m. call, and then we had to be in there to do like a big job. Like, I mean, I've taken 3 a.m., 4 a.m. calls just to try to get in ahead. Like if it's a day for night, and that's usually a locations thing. It's like, oh, we can't touch this building until like day up. Well, like I have to completely cover it in,
the
solid.
entire building.
Yeah. So that's going to take hours, So that happens often. But that's usually a locations thing. Like that's
sure.
And then are y'all in there for the entire day, or
no, we
get out
usually
early?
get the fuck out.
Like
as
when
soon as
after
we can.
everybody's
Like,
there, and you'll
yeah,
make sure
when first
everything
unit
is done.
when first unit rolls in and our first unit guys are good, we kind of will help them like unload their carts, get to set. Usually I'll send the guys. Like no one likes to see the riggers around. It's kind of weird. Like everyone thinks we're dirty and sweaty and we ruin set tech all the time.
Just
So,
who are these
Ruin
strangers?
get them off set before they break something. So I'll usually send the guys, and then I'll wait for the first unit key to kind of walk in and walk through what we did, make sure everything's good. And if anything needs to be changed, then we kind of just call the guys back in. If we got to do some like hot job stuff, we'll do that like last minute. And there's usually a lot of that, because I don't know if every other department's like this, but usually from what we discussed on the scout to what we did and then what they want the day of is completely different. Every stage of this job was different.
That's pretty normal these days.
Right. Yeah. So there's usually changes, and we will knock those out before, camera gets in there.
Yeah.
And you get a DP or a director that's, why did you guys not do the thing that's in my head that I didn't tell anyone about?
Yeah.
That thing.
You're supposed to know.
Yeah. Somehow you're supposed to know.
Yeah.
And also we all enjoy when it's something insignificant that really does not influence the shot. That's the best.
Oh, yeah. Or they don't use.
Right. Or they ultimately don't
usually the
use.
biggest headache is something that like, oh, we didn't even use it.
Yeah, it took us 3 hours to set it up. That's fine.
That ruined my whole week last week trying to figure this out and get the gear shipped in and stuff. And now you didn't even use it.
Jed, all of my thoughts are of the utmost importance.
Well, that's true.
Yeah.
That is very true. Nick, do you, because you just made me think of it, if y'all have to go through something like that, where you just spent hours putting something together, my mind went to like the spouse that's made the nice meal for their partner coming home, and then like they don't appreciate it.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. Yeah, but it's a couple of minutes of me just like staring at what we did, like, wow, what a waste of my time, manpower. Then they paid for it.
Yep.
We get paid hourly. Like
that's always the
they didn't
reminder.
use it?
Oh yeah, I
Fine.
did get paid.
Yeah, like there, especially with rigs, because there's sometimes where it's like, we'll rig something up and it like hopefully it does what it needs to do, right? And it's to find out we didn't even use it. Great, because they didn't use it, so there was no point in them being like, I hate this, or it doesn't work, or it's not doing what I need to do. It was what they wanted was there. It's on them if they use it or not. Usually on the like for big machines when we use them, they want to use them just because it costs so much money.
Mm-hmm.
Like a DP or a key grip will roll it out just because it's like I asked for a couple couple $1,000 machine a day. I have to at least show them that I'm using it. I don't want to waste their money like that. But
Right.
I've built fly swatters and rigged condors that literally will sit and nope, didn't even go up. Awesome.
What just off the top of your head, what's like one of the craziest or crazier rigs that y'all have had to put together?
Oh man, like good ones or bad ones? Because there's been both. Like there's been
Yes,
some
both.
that were like, you just got tore apart by a hurricane.
Right,
like a huge tent that like the way we built it was probably the was definitely the really wrong way to do it. And The first storm that came in, it was just a disaster. That was on NCIS, actually. That was a
Tent
fun
over like a window or something?
Yeah, huge. Yeah, and it, the bigger it gets, the more structurally sound it should be. And it didn't get there.
Yeah.
And it the first storm we got, it was just puddles, and then took everything off. But we've built like some nice big rigs. For killing it, we had a huge set down there at Coyote. And that was a lot of motors, a lot of truss, a lot of like green screen, a lot of stuff that had to be very particular, like because it was a completely like blue screen, 360 stage, and we had a lot of motors and lights on that one. But man, we had this cool rig on I think it's coming out next month. No one will save you.
Okay.
Yeah, we built it on a giant machine. We call it a big green machine. It's essentially like a giant forklift / crane. Instead of using a condor like we like to use, this thing can hold out 1,000 pounds, 110 feet in the air. Condors are rated for we shouldn't put anything more than 500 pounds, and you put a fat electrician or grip in there, that's half the specs. We're already you're using it all up, So we use these machines, and this one was huge. I mean, I don't know if I have a picture of it, but we put 20 if you're familiar with the lights, 20 S60s in the light box, completely wrapped it, and then we had it armed out 100 feet over the house, and mainly because it had to be as far away as possible. And that's kind of why we used it. Was we use an 80-foot crane. We have to be very close because it's got to still go up, just with the angle and all that. But this thing was able to get 100 feet almost straight out, completely extended. So yeah, not up, straight out. And it's got huge outriggers that come out and to brace it. It's a pretty cool machine because it's there's only like 2 in the country at the time, and they shipped that one in because we used it on Emancipation, and that's kind of how we knew about the machine and what it could do because of Emancipation. The Will Smith. I don't know if you guys anyone on that one, or
I was in the
to
same
dodge that
building as the set deck warehouse, but we were on the Tyson Hulu show.
Oh yeah.
But we shared the same loading docks. That was a fun daily thing in prep to figure out whose packages go where. And
Yeah.
some interesting things went missing that were not Emancipation related, oddly enough. Vintage video games. I know. For anyone that remembers, Tyson did the NES commercials because of the Tyson game. So we were recreating it, and I had ordered all these like vintage NES things, and then some of them said arrived.
Like one of the cabinet games, you mean? Like the big.
Yeah, the old school.
Oh yeah.
But a lot of stuff that said arrived had disappeared. Sorry, Emancipation. I'm looking at you.
Someone's man cave is probably hooked up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. A working robot from original NES. So anyway, getting back to this. So now your current title typically is you've made it to Best Boy, right?
Yeah.
So can you help us understand what is a Best Boy?
Best Boy.
And why is it called a Best Boy?
So what I was told, the term Best Boy came from early Hollywood terms like and it was from the phrase "send me your best guy," right? So
That tracks.
I don't know if it was like it was and then someone said that it's like a crafty term because back in the day, crafty was like everything, and then that was like what was told to them, like, hey, send your best guy who just might not be an idiot. I don't know if that so I guess that's I don't know if that's even true or not. I mean, have you guys heard? Is that
It tracks.
what you guys have
Old
heard?
archaic Hollywood. Yeah.
Yeah,
I have
There's your
not
best
heard
boy.
that.
Don't
Yeah.
even look at the women.
I mean,
Yeah.
they're not here.
That's the guess.
Right.
It's probably
It's appropriate.
the best boy.
boy. Yeah.
It does sound like.
available.
I mean, especially if you start thinking like the it's the 1940s. We talk like this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Look at your best boy.
Yeah,
huh?
send me a best
Your
boy
best
over
guy.
here.
Gotta
You know
be
that
your
thing.
best boy.
Yeah. Well, I mean that and like the title Gaffer is very funny and Lord of the Ringsy to me.
Right.
Best boy Gaffer.
That's the top of
What are we
the
talking about?
electric department.
Yeah.
So where does the best boy fall in the hierarchy?
In the hierarchy of
Of the grip department.
there's both grip and electric best boys.
Yes.
and it's essentially number 2. You're number 2 underneath your key grip, underneath your gaffer in rigging. And so there's a first unit best boy, there's a rigging best boy for both G and E, and that's number 2. You're second in command. And yeah, we usually just do. It's like the main job of the best boy. What I'd say, as far as like the one I took most important was making sure the rest of the department gets paid, because the best boy did all the time cards and the hours and stuff, the scheduling, and that was like
some would argue that's the most important
job. Yeah, right. Like, so
I have a lot of angry people.
There's a lot of other responsibilities to it, but like gear and manpower is what you typically will tell somebody, like, this is what the best boys' jobs are: the gear and the manpower. Make sure they have everything they need, and make sure they all get paid. Make sure everyone's scheduled, because the key is typically not going to do any of that.
Then telling me or Chris when we're building the call sheet who's on for tomorrow.
Yeah, we do that. Yeah, to get that up to date. Yeah, love that.
Yep.
And has anything? I mean, I know that grip world is still heavily guy boys club, whatever you want to call it. In our modern work climate, do you ever start hearing any murmurs of like changing the titles to be more PC or anything?
I haven't. No, I haven't. I don't know if it's if that's been a thing, but I haven't heard anybody wanting to change it.
I feel like y'all are.
I've
safe.
seen it.
The grip
I
department
feel like
is
I've
PC
seen it
free.
though on credits, like best person. I've seen that on credits for sure, but
Yeah,
no
I've
one's
worked
ever.
two jobs where it was very much like we don't say best boy.
Mhm.
Nope, there's no best boy thread. There's a best person seen
yeah.
on the call sheet.
Yeah.
And yeah, and seeing.
But I would think that might be like up to the discretion of whoever's title that is, because maybe that person just
Right.
didn't want the title best boy, because I mean I've been asked like what my title wanted to say and how my name wanted to be presented, so maybe I don't know, but no one's ever came to me and said, hey, you should change your title, or
Like, I would never just put that on a call sheet. I would let somebody tell me.
Right,
exactly.
You know.
yeah.
Like Set Deck has a position lead man. We'll get one of those in here one of these days. And I did a show where it was a female lead man, and she wanted to go by lead person instead of lead woman.
Yeah.
She just wanted lead person. And she actually had an all-female swing gang dresser department, which is rare in our industry. And I had made a comment. I didn't mean it in a bad way. I just said, whoa, I don't think I've ever seen an all-girl dresser department. And I got the look quick, like, you got a problem with that? And I was like, no,
scratch.
I'm saying like that's cool. I'm not, God, I'm walking away.
Yeah.
But I feel like the grip department is still.
I have actually worked with a female best boy who went by best boy too. I don't know if she ever even thought about changing it. Yeah.
That's interesting. Did were there any jokes or attention to it or anything like that?
No. She had been from what I only, that was the one show I worked with her on, and she's a local lady out of LA, and she had been a best boy for 25 years up to that point. Yeah, so she's
trailblazer.
Yeah.
All right, man, that's awesome. All right, so kind of pushing us along here. What for you in your time and just kind of being grip centric, what are some of the crazier moments or things that you've had to do in your time, whether it's a last minute request for something insane or something else?
I want to like, the craziest thing to me would probably be learning the job as fast as I had to learn it. Because I was kind of thrown into being a best boy. Situation happened and the department got fired, and I was the day player. I was the only person that had been around, and it was kind of like, well, this is it. You're the guy, and I was like 6 months into the job. This is like when I got into it.
Trial by fire.
Whoa, this is nuts. Are you guys trusting me with this? Whatever. Like, I'll roll with it. You know what I mean? Like, and they got a new key in and everything. And I just kind of, this was like
the whole grip department was gone.
The riggers, the rigging grips. Yeah.
Okay.
Literally everyone above me. I was the next man up as the additional day player. And, so shout out Eric Hayes. Also, he kept me around in that time. Like, as far as like that, first unit had no place for me. First unit literally was like, we're tapped on manpower. Like, we're already, I already have my guys, and
Sure.
And he basically told the first unit best boy, like, well, Nick's gonna work every day, like regardless of what your manpower count was. You work Nick every day. I don't know if it's because they were saving money on the rigging department side, so it's like, well, we got the extra money to keep him on, so they did. But then they brought a new key in, and he kind of just took me under his wing. I actually tried to give the job to multiple people. I was like, I'm not ready for this. I'm still learning how to do it, like
before you took the mantle.
Yeah. Yeah. And they were, a lot of people look at the best boy position as like, too many headaches for a couple more dollars. And I was like, all right, whatever, it is what it is. So no one wanted this job, mainly because no one knew who the key was that they were going to bring in. So there were a lot of people that were offered the job, a lot of people that turned it down because they were like, no, I'm not, no thanks. I'd rather, they're in the dark, and the key that they brought in ended up being really cool. And he was like, they told him, this is your guy. This is Nick. This is your guy. It's the only guy you have right now, but he knows the stages. Like, they ran me through pretty good. I got trained really well before this all happened. So I was familiar with everything. And, he was, I remember the first day, this was with, Richard Ball. We were scouting, the location, and this is Kevin Kennedy's first day on the job on NCIS, and he doesn't know my experience yet. This is who he introduced. This is your best boy, Nick. Oh, nice to meet you. An hour later, we're in the car going to location, and he says, yeah, Nick's only been doing it for about 6 months. And he turns around and looks at me like, what? Really? And I look at Richard like,
bro,
cool.
Yeah.
Where did that come from? Like, just like blurted it out in the car ride. I was like, yeah, that's true. So he kind of looked like, oh man, this is gonna be rough. But I think what kept me around was my attitude towards everything. I was just like, I'm responsible. Like in catering, I was like number 2 catering, number 1 in catering. So I was like, I was already familiar with like, running a department. So I'm just like, I don't know. I'm not going to quit. I'm not going to, there was times where I was like, I can't do this. I don't know what I'm doing.
We've all been there.
Yeah. So I was like, I
just kind of rolled with it industry.
Yeah. So, and that's kind of where I was at that point, was like, I have no idea what I'm doing. And, but I don't know. My attitude is kind of what kept me there. Was everyone was like, you're doing a good job. You're not messing up, and everyone likes you. So
yeah, you're a very likable person. I think that helps.
It did. And with that key grip, he came in and he said, and I remember this conversation was, this was going into the following season. Eric Hayes, shout out Eric Hayes again, asking him, so what's the situation with your best boy? Like, you want to bring someone in, find someone a little more experience. And he looked at me and was like, no, I think Nick's doing a great job. And he's being the kind of best boy that I need. And I think a lot of people kind of took that, like as a teaching point, like people that have taken me under their wing as a best boy is like, I can train you to be the best boy that I want. Yeah. Because a lot of other best boys have been doing this for so long, they're set in their ways. You don't know anything. So I'm going to tell you what you need to do and the things, to keep up with. So, I've worked with, a couple keys that were that kind of like that. Like, I kind of just, I'll fall into the job and do what you want me to do. And just try to knock it out with the best attitude possible. So
that's cool. And I would assume like the terms and vocabulary doesn't really change with different people, right? Like,
no, it's all the same.
Yeah.
It's just, different keys are different, different department heads are everyone's different. Everyone likes certain things in certain ways. And
that's good.
So it's like learning everyone else's like, OCDs and stuff. And it's like, cause I'm, the best boy is the organizer. The best boy is like making sure everything is, where it needs to be. And some keys like that more than others. Some keys want way more organization than other keys. So
we can use that in props big time. Mm-hmm. We have like 7 names for our bins, depending on who you were working with. It's like, let's see, Contico, Tub sometimes. Canadian prop master called them Nesters. That was a new one. I know I'm leaving out a bunch, but it depends on.
Are you talking about container?
Yeah, a container. Oh yeah, there you go.
The plastic
The thing we literally use all the time.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
split top.
Yeah, split top. There you go, splits.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's so many names for them.
The things you could never close the first
Yep.
time.
Those and
Yeah, those-
you'll be on one show
those
and
things
one
are
boss
crazy.
calls them one thing and you get in the habit of it and
Yeah.
then you go to work with someone else.
That does happen too, though, because there's a lot of weird names for grip stuff that like you.
Slang. I
Yes.
guess,
Yeah.
yeah.
So-
yeah.
That's like the thing about the grip department that I think is amazing is that like lots of times grips are stereotyped for being knuckle dragging like gorilla men that are just big dummies.
Yep.
In the grip department, there are 1,200 pieces of equipment. They all have a name. They do a very specific thing, and you really need to like take time to literally learn how to do that thing. And then like they're called all kinds of different names depending on where you are in the country and the world. And like no department has to learn more about the equipment than the grip department.
Yeah,
It's
true.
like, dude, it is I think the hardest job to do.
Thank you, Chris.
Dude, but it's also like learning how to use a C-stand.
You have to
Yeah.
instantaneously MacGyver
Yeah.
from
Yeah.
thin motherfucking air.
Yep.
Yeah.
What's going on?
In awkward spaces a lot of times.
Oh,
too,
yeah,
where
yeah,
it's
yeah.
like, okay, so they want a flag to go up to cover this window, but also you have like 2 feet worth of wall space to
Oh, yeah.
deal with.
Yeah.
to
Or you
somehow-
got like you got like set deck moving a couch right next to you and your ladder, and then you got like the AD department like at the bottom of the ladder. Usually, like, hey, how long is this gonna take?
Totally.
Dude,
As long as it's gonna take.
Those
I
are
mean,
the
that's
hardest
weird.
words I push out of my
Yeah.
face.
Oh
I'm
yeah.
like,
Oh god, I
Yeah.
gotta do this. I gotta do this right now.
But I mean,
You're 12
the
feet in the
whole
air.
crew is watching you try to set up this flag, and then I mean, like, dude, for someone who's mathematically challenged, like a C-stand is just like geometry,
Yeah.
that, like, and it's just like
Oh
you
yeah.
have to do it, and then like those things are hard
Oh yeah.
to work.
And there's right and wrong ways to set everything.
Yeah,
And a lot of the times you'll see, I mean, seasoned grips, like I wouldn't even consider myself a well-seasoned grip. I still fumble like all the time, especially when I got the key grip barking at me, the DP looking at me, and everyone waiting on that little thing that I'm doing. And I forgot how to like use tape. You know what I mean? Like it's like
That's always what it is.
Oh man, I hate and I think that's kind of why I like rigging more because it's way more laid back. I have a job to do and I got all day to do it before they get here to shoot tomorrow.
No
You
No
know?
one's-
one's watching.
no
The
one's
moment-
watching me.
lording over your
Yeah.
shoulder.
Yeah, yeah.
The
and-
moment someone's watching
I
is
mean,
the moment you can do
it gets tense when you're up on a ladder and there's like
Yeah.
a couple hundred people just scurrying around you and you're just like trying not to drop this light over this poor stand-in's head, you know?
yeah.
So it's wild.
We have quotas to fill here too. So the one department that does not feel that pressure would be the camera department.
Oh no. Of course not. Of course not.
It'll be ready when it's ready.
It'll be ready when it's ready, and you get to wait on it.
This thing's a space shuttle.
Yeah. Meanwhile, anyone else that is doing what has been told to them to do is in a constant panic to hurry up.
Yeah.
Yeah, crying.
Yeah.
Nice call.
I
I love how we've just been bashing them
Yeah.
mercilessly.
I feel like until we get a camera person in here.
Oh, is that
like,
what's been
yeah,
happening in here?
Probably
It's just like,
like,
everyone's
at
like,
least twice an
I
episode.
didn't want to say anything, but yeah.
Yeah.
we've been bashing them.
Oh,
We'll have to get
great.
Apple
Love you
in
guys.
here, and then we'll just berate him the
Love you,
entire
Mike.
time.
Man, if we get
What
Apple
we'll
in
do.
here, we're just gonna put a printed out list of questions down. We'll walk away. Like
Let 'em go.
we'll come back in 45 minutes, and he's still on like question 3.
Apple's a person,
Apple.
not
Yeah,
the whole
yeah.
corporation.
He's a very. I mean, God, I feel like I've known him longer than most, but for me at least.
It was on the first show I was on.
Same for me.
I love him. He's a hilarious person. But when
Yeah.
he says that he can see through a wall, or at least his camera can, that's not possible.
Right.
It does not have X-ray vision.
Right.
It's got a 50 millimeter lens.
Right.
Love you,
Yeah, he's quite a character. So let's see. Kind of start wrapping up here. So one thing I wanted to ask you about, Nick, and we can cut this if we need to. I saved a quote from you.
Oh no.
That's
Wait, from when? Was this
Yeah.
our fantasy football draft?
it was from one of our threads,
Okay.
and it's strike related.
Okay. Oh no. Okay, all right.
So I was gonna ask.
What time of day was this? 'Cause I might have been a couple of glasses of
You know,
wine in.
it was 1 a.m. I thought it was a weird time for you to text.
That's a weird time.
No,
This is a follow up to you up.
No, I believe it was midday.
Okay.
But we've all been worried about the strike, not knowing what's going on.
Yeah.
The uncertainty obviously is painful. Mentally, you holding out in that department?
Yeah.
I mean, best as anybody.
Yeah, yeah.
The quote that I have here, it was so funny. I was like, I got to save it in case Nick comes on. So you texted to the group, I just told a kid on Call of Duty to, quote, drop out of the 5th grade and kill yourself because you suck at this game.
Oh,
followed by, I need to go back to work.
Oh, dude. Okay, so for context, this kid was throwing.
Was that your apology to the kid? Like,
No, this was.
It's been a tough year, buddy.
Rebuttal to this kid calling me the N-word and
oh my god,
nonstop. Like, I mean,
they're the worst.
They're
like
the worst.
10-year-old kids are like the worst.
They're scary.
I don't know.
They're scary.
I don't know what else to say to a little kid calling me that and just being racist as hell online. What else do I say? I don't know. And I literally said that. My buddy that I was playing with is also in the film industry. Tyler, he's an electrician. He was like, "Oh my god, you just said that to a little kid." I was like, "I know, dude. I gotta get back to work. I gotta go. Bye." And I just shut my PlayStation off. I was like, I can't do this anymore. I'm losing it right now. Losing it.
That cracked me up to no end. Because it is really the little kids that suck so much at
They're
when
the
you're done
worst.
the games.
They're the worst. And the funniest thing is that's the typical person you're playing with, especially even after when we're working. You know, get off a 12, 13-hour day, go home, and I'm like, just gonna play some video games, and I'm getting my ass kicked by a little kid that's calling me names. Like that's I don't know those shit talkers. I don't know what else to say.
For anybody that remembers the Man Show, the kind of like little chubby kid that was like the smart aleck kind of reoccurring character they had on their show.
They had him go out to Man on the Street.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I love that kid.
That's basically who you're constantly playing in online gaming is that guy. And it's like, how do you? That is filthy. How do you even know that kid?
Yeah, where did you learn that stuff? I'm like, oh, it's like
got Oreo crumbs in the corner of your lips right now. Like, what do you see with that language?
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah,
yeah. It's. I mean, it's insane. Like the kind of stuff that I've seen from. I mean, we're also assuming they're kids. I mean,
he could be a grown man for all I know. He sounded like a child, but I was.
Which is equally wrong in a different direction. It's like, oh, I'm actually a 55-year-old man pretending to be a 12-year-old boy.
That's weird.
Oh my god. So anyway, Nick, we want to thank you for coming in today, and we're gonna have to get a electrician to come in and support your best boy claims.
Yeah. Can I shout out somebody? Or,
yeah.
I don't know. Do you guys have those lined up already? Like, I mean,
no.
Do you have an electrician best boy you were thinking about?
We are just for a little bit of anonymity. Everyone's last name is their department. So if there's someone specific that you wanted to name on air, then just keep
I'll just
them
send you some more texts at 1 in the morning.
That's fine.
Just random names.
As long as it's 1 a.m. because I am
because I know you're up.
Yeah. That's usually I like to drink in the darkness.
Nice.
Alone.
It's 1 a.m. and you're not wearing pants.
Yeah. That's all I'm thinking about.
Oh my god.
Jed.
Yeah, right. Well, thank you so much, Nick. We really appreciate you coming in.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Grip, everybody.
Yeah, appreciate it.
And looking forward to seeing you back at work when we're all back.
Yeah, I can't wait.
Sweet.
Bye.
All right, see ya.
All right, so now we answered the question. And thank you, Nick, again for coming in. I guess now we need a Best Boy Electric to come in and support or challenge these claims that Nick Grip made. In lining up people for future episodes, what are some positions that y'all are still confused about? Like maybe the title is a strange title, and you're like, what does that person do?
That's a good one.
Or maybe it's just producers in general. What do producers do?
Yeah, producers
There's
and
a really good one.
and producers assistants. I mean, I know what they do, but
I mean, you
also
gotta-
like,
It's a
what do
noble profession.
It's noble profession. Yeah.
Yeah.
Fellatio is normal or noble? Well, I guess.
That was a Greek tragedy, wasn't it?
Should be.
Yeah.
Probably was.
Frankly, there are more jobs too. There are jobs like in construction that I don't know the hierarchy at all.
We have a lot of
between,
coordinator
you know,
titles that are at different tiers in those departments that makes it confusing.
Yeah.
Because like a construction coordinator is the top of the construction department, but let's say an art department coordinator is like the one non-creative person in the art department that just does the paper pushing. So
Yeah.
it's very different.
Our art department too. I'm not entirely like I know props. I know the hierarchy of that.
I
but as
wish
far
we had
as-
prop coordinators. We'll get to that one day.
Yeah, 1923 had one.
Yeah,
Had a
they're starting to be a
coordinator.
thing
Pretty
for
cool.
all the naysayers out there. The BA in Atlanta,
Yeah.
whatever. I don't think he's there anymore. He tried to tell me there's no such thing as a prop coordinator. I said, well, yeah, there's no such thing as a set deck coordinator 10 years ago either, but here we are. So that's the problem. You keep adding paperwork and bureaucracy. We need more people doing that. Anywho's, get off that soapbox for a second. Okay, there we go. All right. So, any closing thoughts to the gripping world?
I felt like we could have talked more about sandbags, but you know,
Oh man, we didn't even talk about
yeah.
sandbags, did we?
we didn't talk one time about
Oh, and
sandbags.
a shot bag
stands.
versus a sandbag.
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know?
Oh my
Yeah.
God.
We
Sandbags are-
sandbags.
We barely
They're
talked
doing all
about
the work.
C-stands.
They are.
So
The next-
anyway, the point is, I regret
I'm not talking about
Not
sandbags.
talking about.
They're doing a lot of work on set. They really are.
Yeah, I love a sandbag. I
Unsung
really,
hero.
you know,
Fuck yeah.
that's the thing I want to swipe from
Especially
set.
when they
but
get
can't.
rained on and they're all wet and then they're double the weight.
Yeah.
Wait, you haven't swiped a sandbag from set?
They're heavy, man. What am I going to put a 20-pound sandbag in my backpack, lug it around like
Yes,
Especially when
that
they get
is-
rained
Yes.
on.
It's like, oh
Yes,
no.
please do
Right.
that and then walk awkwardly
It
away.
is the one thing
Yeah.
I see, and I'm like, I want that. I want that for the beach. I want that for my life. And I'm
Yeah.
like, I'm never going to walk off set with that. I should just ask. I should just not contemplate.
Just sneak me one.
I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go try to catch Nick. See if we can still get some sandbags right
Yeah.
now before he drives off.
Yeah, go on.
Nah, I'm too
Get
lazy.
up. Go.
I'm not getting up.
All right.
The next
all right.
time we have a grip, or if we have Nick on again, I'd like to talk about all of the other jobs that they don't really get hired for or get paid for that they do on set, like filling up people's tires whenever they get a flat, chasing down people who have stolen things off of set, and getting those things back.
Basically, just all of. I mean, really, like they're kind of on set manual laborers.
Yeah,
you
the
know.
muscle.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we should say for anyone that's not in the industry that the grip department basically looks like an entire department of bouncers.
Yes.
Like they're not little people typically.
No.
They're very
Yeah.
built people.
Yeah, they have.
Um,
They're physically stronger than the rest of.
Well, they got to grip stuff with their big meaty paws.
Yep, 100%.
Oh, they definitely have meaty paws.
Yeah. So
the meat paw percentage of that department is higher than any other.
yeah,
That's
you
sure.
can't have little. You got to grab it.
Yeah,
You can't have little dainty fingers because you got to be in camera for that. You know what I mean? To be able to handle delicately
Mhm.
all of the
Channel
space
6.
shuttle equipment that you need to handle because
Yeah.
you wouldn't understand. It's technology. It's just
No, I'm just a little lady. I'm just a girl.
yeah.
Don't ask me nothing.
Yeah.
Oh my god. So to all that, let's see who wants to take us out today.
Do you like what we're doing here? Do you have thoughts, comments, questions? Maybe you have an idea or suggestion for topics you want to hear about? Well, you can find us on the intrawebs. You can email us at filmfolklorepodcast@gmail.com. You can find us on the social medias, Instagram being Film Folklore Podcast. We have a Facebook group called Film Folklore, Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it, at The Film Folk. And yeah, thanks for joining us today.
3, 2, 1.
Bye.
Ooh, bass. Nice. Who's doing that? What is it? You?
That's me.
That was great.
All right, bye everybody.